0325 AM, Saratov region, Russia. A single Ukrainian long-range strike drone is banking hard at just 20 feet above the frozen surface of the Volga River. Its 22-pound thermobaric warhead seconds away from slamming into a 50,000-barrel fuel tank. Behind it, a Russian 9M338 missile is screaming in at Mach 2.5, its proximity fuse mere inches from ending the mission in a ball of fire. If the operator hits the mark, he cripples Russia's entire southern logistics hub. If he misses by just 15 feet, 3 months of covert planning becomes nothing more than expensive scrap metal. This heart-stopping moment actually began 6 hours earlier, nearly 500 miles away. By February 7, 2026, the global walls have closed in on the Kremlin. With the United States pressuring India to halt Russian oil imports and the European Union finally strangling the shadow fleet of tankers, oil has become Russia's last remaining pulse. The Balashovo oil depot is the beating heart of this survival strategy, supplying jet fuel and diesel to the entire southern front. Across the border, Ukraine is ready to return the fire after months of Russian strikes on their civilian power grid. Ukraine is currently deploying 120 specialized decoy drones alongside their strike package to perform a maneuver that will bypass the billion-dollar Russian sensors entirely. The countdown has begun, and Russia is about to learn why you should never underestimate an opponent who knows how to turn a flock of fake signals into a billion-dollar catastrophe. 9:30 p.m., 6 hours before impact. In a concealed forest clearing near the Ukrainian border, the winter silence is broken not by a heavy missile launch, but by the high-pitched, persistent hum of 120 specialized decoy drones and 5 long-range strike drones taking flight. This is the birth of the thermal ghost swarm. Each of the 120 decoys is a disposable frame costing less than a high-end smartphone, while the 5 strike drones are the heavy hitters, carrying 22-pound thermobaric warheads designed to turn a fuel tank into a vacuum-sealed fireball. The swarm immediately drops to an altitude of just 35 feet, hugging the frozen curves of the Volga River. The Ukrainian operators, sitting in a reinforced bunker hundreds of miles away, monitor the mission through encrypted satellite links. By staying over the river, they are exploiting the natural radar masking properties of the water's surface and the heavy winter fog to hide their profile. The mission requires agonizing precision, as the drones must navigate around bridge pylons and power lines in the dark. Tung chung yumaitu dengdian ra huan hao duisu checho komandame. But they aren't just flying, they are performing. The AI on board the decoys is programmed to mimic the flight patterns of migrating geese, erratic low-velocity movements that typically cause Russian radar filters to ignore them as biological clutter. To add a layer of demonic deception, the decoys activate thermal pods that heat up to 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. This mimics the infrared signature of a small jet engine, creating a chaotic thermal bloom that is nearly impossible for automated systems to categorize. Phase 1 is holding, the lead operator whispers, his brow wet with sweat despite the cold. They have successfully crossed the first 100 miles of Russian airspace without a single alarm being raised. The swarm is a ghost on the Russian monitors, hiding in plain sight, but the Balashovo oil depot is still 400 miles away, and the first layer of the Pantsir S-1 defense network is about to enter the chat. 0317 AM Balashovo Defense Sector. The massive Nebo-M early warning radar, a multi-billion-dollar array designed to track stealth fighters at the edge of the atmosphere, finally catches the discrepancy. On the Russian consoles, the 120 blips are no longer being dismissed as biological noise. The duty officer at the Saratov Air Defense Command Center stares at the Doppler shift data. The velocity is too constant, the formation too disciplined. He slams the red alert button. In an instant, the night sky above the Saratov region erupts into a violent display of kinetic energy. The Pantsir S-1 batteries surrounding the oil depot pivot their turrets with mechanical ferocity, their X-band radar locking onto the intense thermal blooms generated by the Ukrainian decoys. The first 57 E-6 missiles roar off the rails, trailing white-hot plumes of fire as they accelerate to Mach 3. Within seconds, the sky is filled with the blinding flashes of proximity fuses detonating. Tungsten fragments rip through the cheap plastic frames of 15 decoys in the first wave alone. The Tor M2 units join the fray. their 9 M338 missiles carving lethal arcs through the freezing fog. Below them, Rosgvardia and Spetsnaz security teams scramble into their BTR-82 armored vehicles, activating stadium-grade searchlights that slash through the darkness. DSK 12.7mm heavy machine guns begin to bark from the perimeter towers, spraying the Volga River bank with a wall of lead. The Russian commanders feel a surge of confidence as they watch their multi-layered shield perform exactly as designed. On the radar screens, blip after blip disappears. They have already downed 40 drones in less than 3 minutes. To the Russians, this looks like a total intercept of a desperate low-tech saturation attack. Inside the Ukrainian bunker, the operators watch their monitors turn into a graveyard of red status lights as the Russian missiles find their marks. But instead of panic, there is a chilling, calculated silence. The loss of the first 40 decoys was not a failure. It was the first blood required to force the Russian batteries to reveal their positions and burn through their primary missile racks. The Russian operators believe they are winning, but in reality, they have just stepped directly into the second act of a trap that is about to overload their senses. The real strike package is still moving, hidden behind the chaos of the burning decoys, and the thermal ghost is about to play its MasterCard. 0320 AM, Saratov Air Defense Zone. The Russian Pantsir S-1 operators are currently celebrating what they believe is a total tactical victory. Having expended nearly 24 57 E-6 missiles to clear the sky, their radar screens show nothing but a thinning cloud of debris. The air defense commanders report to Saratov headquarters that the saturation attack has been neutralized and the facility remains secure. But this is the precise moment the Ukrainian operators reveal the intellectual counterpunch that renders a $15 million air defense battery obsolete. On a synchronized command, the remaining 80 decoys activate their thermal bloom cascade. Each drone ignites high-intensity magnesium pyrotechnic pods, spiking their infrared signature to over 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit in less than 5 seconds. This creates a massive, blinding wall of heat and electromagnetic noise. To the Pantsir S-1's X-band radar, it is the electronic equivalent of a flashbang detonating in a dark room. The radar's Doppler filters, specifically tuned to track moving metal, are suddenly overwhelmed by the static noise of the heat blooms. For exactly 15 seconds, the Russian tracking computers suffer a digital seizure, their displays turning into a solid wash of white static. In this window of total electronic blindness, the 5 primary long-range strike drones switch to ghost mode. Their onboard AI takes over, killing all active radio transmissions to prevent Russian direction-finding equipment from triangulating their position. They execute a pre-programmed snake maneuver, a high-frequency zigzag pattern designed to exploit the refresh rate gaps in the Russian radar sweep. They dive even lower, dropping to just 25 feet above the Volga River, their composite carbon fiber frames blending into the cold, dense fog of the riverbank. Inside the Ukrainian bunker, the lead operator's hand is steady on the throttle, his heart pounding against his ribs as he monitors the passive sensors. He is counting down the seconds of the radar blackout. While the Russian commanders are frantically trying to recalibrate their sensors to filter out the thermal noise, the real strike package has already slipped through the main defensive gate. By the time the Pantsir S-1 radar clears the static, the 5 strike drones are no longer where the computers expected them to be. They have bypassed the primary ring of steel, and the Balashovo oil tanks are now less than 3 miles away. The ghost is through the door, and the Russians are staring at an empty sky. 3:22 AM, 2 miles from ground zero. The Russian high command realizes they have been victims of a massive electronic deception, and they respond with a brutal, low-tech contingency plan. The commander of the Balashovo depot orders an immediate deployment of the Quick Reaction Force. Dozens of BTR-82 armored vehicles belonging to the Spetsnaz and Rosgvardia roar toward the riverbank, their engines screaming as they race to intercept the drones. These units aren't relying on complex radar, they are using stadium-grade searchlights and human eyes to scan the low-altitude fog. Suddenly, a 1.5 million candle-power beam of light slashes through the darkness, catching the lead Ukrainian strike drone in its glare. At the same time, the secondary defense layer, the Tor M2 system, achieves a solid lock on a target just 2.5 miles out. The Russian operator doesn't hesitate. He launches a 9M338 missile, which streaks off the rails at Mach 2.5, guided by a command line of sight system that is much harder to jam than traditional radar. Inside the Ukrainian bunker, the situation turns critical. The operator's monitor begins to flicker and tear as a Russian R-330ZH Zytel electronic warfare truck parked less than a mile away floods the area with high-power jamming signals. The strike drone begins to vibrate violently, caught between the turbulence of the river's freezing air and the intense electromagnetic interference. Tracers from 12.7mm DSK heavy machine guns are now zipping past the camera feed like red-hot needles. "Sam inbound, 6 seconds," the navigator yells. This is the ultimate moment of risk. The Russians have successfully adjusted their tactics, transitioning from a failed high-altitude radar defense to a dense, low-altitude kill zone of kinetic fire and electronic noise. If this lead drone is downed, the mission is over, and the billion-dollar oil depot remains a functional asset for the Russian war machine. The Ukrainian operator is fighting the joystick, staring at a screen filled with static and tracers, knowing that he is less than 100 seconds away from either a historic victory or a total failure. The stakes have reached their absolute peak, and physics is about to decide the winner. 03:24 a.m. The terminal phase. As the 9M338 missile closes the final gap at Mach 2.5, the Ukrainian strike drone deploys its ace in the hole. Onboard sensors detect the missile's active radar homing, and the drone's AI automatically triggers a high-speed ejection of mini decoy flare pods. Simultaneously, the drone executes a final snake escape, a violent high-G zigzag maneuver combined with a sudden programmed deceleration that drops its airspeed from 90 to 45 miles per hour in less than 2 seconds. The maneuver is a masterclass in counter-missile physics. The Tor M2's 9M338 missile, designed to intercept high-speed predictable targets, cannot compensate for the sudden loss of velocity and the overwhelming heat signature of the flares. The missile's seeker locks onto the magnesium pods and detonates 300 feet behind the drone in a massive, fruitless explosion. Shrapnel from the blast zips through the air, and a handful of 12.7mm rounds from a nearby DSK heavy machine gun graze the carbon fiber wing, but the drone remains airworthy. Exploiting the smoke and confusion from the Tor M2's detonation, the operator pushes the throttle to 100% and dives the drone even lower, leveling out just 20 feet above the Volga River's surface. At this extreme low altitude, the dense river fog and the freezing water create a thermal mask that renders the drone invisible to the Spetsnaz searchlights on the bank. The Russian security teams are firing blindly into the mist, their shouts of panic audible over the roar of the fire. They realize the Ghost has successfully bypassed every layer of their multi-billion-dollar defense network. Inside the Ukrainian bunker, the lead operator's screen clears for a split second as the drone emerges from the fog directly in front of the depot's primary fuel farm. "Clear! Releasing payload!" he screams. The drone's internal bay snaps open, releasing the 22-pound thermobaric bomb. The weapon is released from just 50 feet away, targeting the massive 50,000-barrel tank at the center of the facility. The Russian guards on the ground drop their weapons and run for cover as the black shape of the drone screams overhead. The perimeter is breached, the defenses are silenced, and the heart of Russia's southern energy supply is now exactly 1.2 seconds away from total vaporization. 3:25 a.m. Impact. The 22-pound thermobaric bomb strikes the primary 50,000-barrel fuel tank with mathematical precision. A thermobaric weapon doesn't just explode, it disperses a cloud of highly flammable aerosol that ignites into a 2,500-degree Fahrenheit vacuum ball. The internal pressure spike within the tank treats the reinforced steel structure like a wet paper bag, vaporizing 2.1 million gallons of refined diesel in less than 2 seconds. The destruction is a perfect domino effect. Because the Balashovo oil depot was packed to capacity for the winter offensive, the thermal radiation from the first blast ignites 4 adjacent tanks within 60 seconds. To the Russian guards, it is no longer a combat zone. It is a landscape of molten metal and unbreathable air. The strategic fallout is a nightmare for the Kremlin. This single strike has crippled 20% of the fuel supply for the entire southern theater. Estimated damage exceeds $1.2 billion in infrastructure and high-grade fuel, but the real cost is measured in stalled tank columns and grounded helicopters. In the next 72 hours, the Russian military will learn that a 100-ton main battle tank is nothing more than an expensive lawn ornament without the fuel from a facility that was supposed to be untouchable. The economics tell the final brutal story. Ukraine used $30,000 worth of plastic decoys and hobbyist components to incinerate a billion-dollar asset. That is a 3 million% return on investment. The lesson for Putin is clear. You can build all the radar walls you want, but they are useless if you are too busy chasing fake geese to see the demon at your door. Bye for now. Hey.